Welcome, everyone, to the 41st edition of HIVE Thrive. Today, we will welcome our guest, PH1102. I'm Shadows Pup, and co-hosting with me today is Mino. Mino, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Ecuador, in my little part of the world. Sunny, windy. That's how I like it. Sun and wind. So it's hot, but not really because the wind cools you off. How are you doing, Shadow?
So, does that wind make it more of a dry heat than humidity, or is the humidity still there?
No, right now we don't have that much humidity. During the day, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
At night, if it rains, then you're screwed. But but because the sun just cooks everything, it's pretty dry right now. Right now.
That's what that's what
The
gets
rest of the
brutal here.
year, it's a whole different story. Oh, the humidity.
Yeah, when we get the heat here, we get the humidity, and that's what's brutal. So today we've got a
Oh
very
yeah, oh, yeah.
balmy 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That will definitely be no humidity with that.
Well,
So
10 degrees Fahrenheit. That's horrible.
well, it was better than the 9 degrees I woke up to. And the sun's out.
Oh my god,
And the sun's out. We'll go with it. And
my knees hurt just from hearing this.
pardon me,
My knees hurt just from hearing you right now.
PH, how are you? I hear that it's dinner time where you are. Are we interrupting your dinner?
Hi guys. No, you didn't actually. Dinner in Spain is around 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. So now it's around 7. So it's still too
Ah,
early. So we have like 3 hours more. I don't know if anybody else in this world is eating dinner after 9, 10 p.m. But that's a custom here because
any
we have
idea?
some long days. Sorry.
Is it because of labor force or the way the weather conditions are? What makes you have that custom of being so late in the day? Well, for us, it's late in the
It's
day.
it's because Spain should be in the time zone plus one, like Portugal, I think, and not like the rest of the Europe, but they wanted to be in the same time zone like Europe, and because of that, its sunset is going down at 10, 11 o'clock almost in the summer. So that's probably one of the reasons why it's like that.
Wow.
As you see, Paloma is saying she just had a merienda at the moment.
And you had some really brutal heat there last summer too. That probably would have made eating later in the day a little more comfortable.
Yeah, that's probably another reason. And when I came to Spain to live in Spain, I think after a week or two, I went. We were preparing. My son was like 5 years old, and we were preparing him for bed. It was around 10 or 11 o'clock. And then I looked on the window and I saw that my neighbors are preparing barbecue. So that was great.
Beautiful.
That would make for some real overlaps, wouldn't it? So
Yeah.
we might as well start with the burning question that gets asked at pretty well every Hive Thrive. How did you decide on your name?
Oh boy, that's an interesting question.
Told you it was a burning
Well,
question.
yeah, it's a burning question. It was actually when from my student days, I was working in a PC game club, and I was trying to figure it out my nickname for playing games with others, and I just turned around my nickname from my real name, and if you read it from the back, it would be something with much more sense. But if you write it with the word with the letters, so it was like Filoz, and the next progress of that was just turning those Iloz into numbers. So that's actually the secret behind the username.
Well, that's creative. And you
Oh,
are a
I don't know.
creative. You are a creative guy, so that kind of stands to reason. And I noticed that you joined the chain in April of 2019. So you actually joined the legacy chain. How did you find the chain?
Well, I actually joined a couple of months earlier with my first account, which was Crypto Philos. which I am using currently for playing games and some of trading on the chain. It was in January 2019, and I found the chain by that very famous guy that everybody knows from the legacy chain, probably. And what was the name of the guy? I forgot it. It's a brain fart. The guy who was creating the Splinterland Steam monsters in those days videos. The Bean. What is his name?
Ernie?
No, no, not Ernie.
not
The
not
other
ag
one,
not aggro.
the no, the thin guy who was creating content around Steam and everything, and he was very
Oh,
hated
you're
guy.
talking about Jerry.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
Jerry. Yeah,
Jerry.
Jerry. Yeah,
the
We
Jerry.
haven't talked
Yeah.
about Jerry in a while, so that's good. That's good.
What was
the
his
ban
username?
the Banfield.
The
Banfield.
Jerry
band.
Yeah, Jerry Banfield.
Banfield.
Exactly,
Last thing I knew
exactly.
about Jerry, he identified as a black rapper, and I've
Oh,
lost
Whoa.
track of it. I'm
But
not even joking, by the way. Sounds like a joke,
yeah,
but
but
it's not a joke.
But we are joking with the guy, but I heard more than dozens of times that many people actually joined the chain thanks to him. So
that's
Yeah,
true.
maybe it's
I'm
a
one of them.
joke, maybe guy's a joke, but he really did the good job like promoting the chain, and not everybody like finished with just playing the game, and others branched out and doing something other stuff on the chain. So actually every marketing, every advertisement is good, even negative or positive. It's always who knows what can bring. And
Yeah,
I heard people came thanks to him.
he was quite an interesting character. And then after he got had the success of onboarding people, he decided to market a course on onboarding and charge people $50 a piece to learn how to sign up to a Steam account. That didn't go over real well for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, bro. So that was the short story about that. And after Steam Monsters, I had no idea that there is a social network behind Steam back in the days. So, and I don't know how I actually discovered after a month or two. Then I dive into the CTP tribe with John Colson and others. And after that, I branched out to other things on the chain.
Yeah, that's when I met you. Was when you were working with John Olson or involved in his project.
Well, I wasn't involved there. I was just in that community. So that was actually one of the communities back in the day. So and it was a lot of people around it. And then there I met actually Akim, which is my partner with our project at these days. And you, Shadow Pub, and probably others, many others too.
Yeah, John ran a good program. Unfortunately, he's not on the chain anymore.
Yes, he is, but not that much active as he was before.
Yeah, he's not very active on any of the socials either because I used to see him a lot over on Facebook, and very rare that he posts over there anymore either. So that's too
Yeah,
bad. I actually met John in Toronto. Actually, I think it was in 2019. There was a Steam
interesting.
event. There was a Steam event that I attended in Toronto, and I met him there. Nice guy.
I,
So
I
you,
didn't know that you are attending these real life meetups.
the one and
I
only
heard
that
that.
I attended, but Toronto's only
Oh,
90 minutes from my home.
oh, so you didn't have an excuse.
Yeah. So and I traveled into that by train. I didn't drive in.
Okay.
So, um, okay. So you come on in 2019. You came in through Banfield. You connected with Olson. And what did you find you like doing most on the chain?
Well, it's actually like a evolving journey on the chain. I suppose that many of people did that the same. First, I was playing Steam Monsters, Splinterlands. After that, I got into CTP vibe back in the days. They were doing some challenges, which was good to put me out of the comfort zone, as I don't find myself very extroverted. I'm more introvert, and it was very tough for me to create content, and especially to jump in front of a camera. I was doing like these 30 days challenges where I was recording videos every single day and recording myself, which was very, very strange to see. But after that, I think that I met Akim through comments. And the thing is that at the beginning, probably when you have more time, you can dedicate more time to chain. And I was really writing some huge and long comments and meaningful comments on posts of people. And that's how Akim actually find me like an interesting person, and he just jumped in and said, let's do something together. And then we started to brainstorm about ideas. What can we do? Like, as we are not developers, we are just an ordinary guys. And then we cooked up the Liotes, and then we started to gather a community around it, which wasn't my first community that I was actually created, because I was doing before blockchain. And in my younger days, I was actually launching the one motorsport website, and I launched PHP forum back in the days. And it was actually one of the first in that part of Europe, and it gathered a lot of cool people, and which led to creation of a website about the topic Formula One, MotoGP, and stuff like that. But I just wrote a post about that. We were just too early, and we couldn't survive those times without sponsors. Only on enthusiasm, it fades away.
So for a guy that's not very social, you were amazingly social at that time. You just didn't realize you were doing it.
I, I think that people who knows me from in real life probably know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah. I think we probably know anyways, Mr. Let's sit there right till the end of PYPT and then just slip in at the end, hopefully. So,
yeah.
explain to us what Liotes is.
Well, Liotes isn't what Mino said in the comment. So it's not Lithuanian iridescent ornaments to edify Spain.
that that's just Menno. He loves doing stuff like that.
Actually, that
I
was
mean, I
when
like
I
to dig deep and find out the reasons why, dude. So I did. Found it
okay.
on the weekend, and so it's true.
Keep guessing. Let's keep that for the end of the show. So why Liotes?
He asked
No, actually,
ChatGPT. So, are you going to tell us about it, or you want people to keep guessing?
no. It's we actually invented that word. That we find, and we were trying to find the .com name, which is not uh, occupied, which is free to register. And then we started to turn around the things, and there it is. Hakim posted the answer. We just take out the from the Greek god, just part of its name, and created the name of the project.
Greek
So
god.
it's pretty
Uh,
original, and I suppose ChatGPT didn't answer anything. So AI isn't that high these days. They have to work more on that.
I don't think ChatGPT would have had the creativity to realize that it was a Greek god with the first three letters missing.
Yeah. So it's when we started actually March 2021. So 2 years after I joined the chain. So after 2 years, I gathered some power to make a step and to do something for the chain. And then we created the Liotes, the project, with the idea to try to support others and try to support other developers, as we are not developers. But in those days, we had completely different views on chain, because it was completely different time. Our main focus in those days were helping out tribes, as in those days we didn't have communities, as tribes were the best that we had, the closest to the communities. So for those who are new, tribes were like every tribe would have a separate front end where you can write about certain topic or about general topic, depends of the tribe. and be rewarded in the Hive Engine tokens of that tribe by
Li-
creating that, and also the
Leo
Hive. Sorry.
Leo Finance started as a tribe.
Exactly. So Leo Finance was the first one. I think the maybe CTP talk was the second one or something like that. And then we have the proof of brain and Neoxian and others. And the idea was that we would uh, gather the stake of those tribes and curate in those tribes and try to help them out with the exposure and with later on we started a curation project, which was the idea to support them, to support uh, posts that are published through those front ends. But unfortunately, that the tribe tokens and tribes felt apart. Maybe because of the communities were better integrated in Hive, so that was um, a better solution. But also, true to be told, many of these leaders of the tribes were just experimenting, and they weren't that much stubborn and continue developing when things went south, of course, as they do. And that's why we had to change our strategy and to move some other dimensions, and then we started our own initiatives and supporting through different ways our community.
In many ways, the hard fork to Hive kind of taught us that it doesn't matter what we want to do, but we need to be able to pivot if if needed. Because there were a lot of projects that kind of went, "What do we do now?" And they kind of died on the on the vine, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a hard time, and it will be a hard time because we are all experimenting with the cryptocurrencies, and we had no idea what will happen tomorrow. And those who can actually move through these waters, they can survive, and you have to change things if the society is pushing in different directions, so you can't go against
Very
the
true.
stream.
When did you become a witness?
Mm, we launched Liotes Witness in 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, in November 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. We just had a 2 year anniversary in November.
And when did you launch your witness?
I didn't launch my witness like a personal witness, but we launched also Hive Engine Witness. So I have personal Hive Engine Witness,
Ah, got it.
and just recently I also joined the 3Speak encoding team and launched two encoder nodes. Actually, one is my personal computer that I'm just talking from, and the other one is my old computer, which is running and helping out 3Speak with encoding videos for video creators.
So now's probably
For
a
those,
good time to see if Mino wants to follow up on your inspiration the day you saw an ad for pizza flavored paella. I'm on board, Mino.
Paella, paella. Well, him being Spanish, I know he knows.
yeah,
As a
yeah.
matter, I'll tell you something really cool. When I was a child, now when we were very young, one of our neighbors had a mima, a grandma that was from Spain, and she made amazing paellas, and I miss those things so much. Um, but I haven't been able to have a good one ever since. And but we'll talk about paellas a little bit later too, because I want to know how much you love the Spanish cuisine. But since we're talking about technology, let's talk about technology. You keep on saying normies, normies, or like normal people, and you don't call yourself a programmer. But I think the Liotes project is kind of complex. So I think you're pretty far away from like a let's call you a normal user, and you seem to also be into, you know, into Linux and understanding Docker and all that stuff. So how did you get into that? I guess if you were, and I'm saying this because you started off the conversation saying like, oh, I was a normal user.
Okay, so I actually finished the secondary school to be like a hardware technician. So I like more poking around computer hardware than software.
Mm,
After that,
okay, okay.
I actually studied for to being an IT professor, which unfortunately I didn't finish. And after that, I opened my PC shop where I was actually creating, not creating, how do you say, assembling PC computers.
Yeah, clones, as
And
they used to call it.
yeah, so that was actually my first endeavor that I started. And through that, actually, that was around maybe 2003, 4, or something like that. Then I
Mm-hmm.
dived to Google AdSense, and through that, I launched another forum for money making communities or something like that for content creators actually. And through
Mm-hmm.
that forum, I met many people who had their websites there, and many of them were actually very they had some huge websites which needed better hosting services, because these regular hostings, but when you buy a GoDaddy or some other hosting or some other hosting, you get unlimited stuff. But if you start to bring some bigger traffic, that will not work. So they will just kick you out or just limited your traffic.
Uh-huh.
And as those guys needed something better, something more, I actually decided to buy a dedicated machine back in the days, and to resell hosting services for them, but with real how do you say it, with real specifications. So but when you have something promised, then you really do that. And those guys had like thousands of visits per minute, and they had like hundreds in a second. So it was wild back in the days. There were machines that were like $1,000 per month just to run their websites.
Wow.
And I was actually doing that with another friend of mine, and he was more in Linux than me, and he actually gave me my first steps into Linux and everything. And yeah, let's go back to the Linux. It was even a bit more than that. Why I changed the swap to Linux? Well, when I had the PC shop, the thing was that uh, I got hacked, and I was using Windows back. I think it was Windows XP or 7, I don't know. And I was literally watching somebody is getting into my computer
You kidding
and
me?
doing something. Yeah, I was literally sitting on the computer in those moments, but I was something in a hurry. I had to go from my home, and I thought, oh, there is no issue because I had an antivirus and I had a firewall, so I was covered and I was safe in my views. And I had to leave, and I left my home, and when I come back, it was like 1 hour after, or hour and a half, my phone starts ringing, and then I got some messages that my website is down, my website is down. What's happening? And the thing was that uh, I got hacked, and I don't know if somebody remembers, there was a app which was called File Manager, which was called Total Commander. I think maybe it still exists, and it has some loophole. And the guy who hacked me actually took out my passwords from Total Commander for my websites, went to my websites and just deleted them, or just put something up, and it was, or a blank page, or something other, some phishing page. Yeah, it has an
Wow.
FTP inside Total Commander too. Yeah, and when that happened, I just deleted my
You,
Windows and went into Linux.
I guess it's something that we haven't talked about in these shows a lot because although these shows are more like about the community and talking about stuff, and they can get a little too technical for. I mean, we can get technical, but not too technical. One of the things that is worth talking about, even with let's call them normies, like I talk to my mom, I talk to anybody who listened to me, is this thing about safety. You know, like you really have to more now that Microsoft has it's not even going to support Windows 10, and you have to go into microslop Windows 11. This stuff can happen to you. You can get hacked, and it is in your own best interest to learn about personal safety online, how to prevent these sorts of things from happening to you. So, of course, uh, PH is talking about this and it happened a long time ago, but it can happen today. It can still happen today. So you went into Linux as a necessity because you're like, okay, this is not happening to me anymore. I'm not never gonna get screwed. And now you're a Linux guy. What flavor of Linux do you like?
Well,
Oh, as a guy.
I started probably with with the first one because they my friend was using were using Slack back in the days, so it was Linux Slack, which was probably one of the most complicated in those days, and he installed that on my computer, so I had so much issues to install apps and stuff like that. I had no idea. After that, I moved to Mint, and
Yeah.
after using Mint for, I don't know, maybe a decade or even more, I switched to Ubuntu just because of these other stuff, because of running nodes and stuff like that. So just to be easier to do these things. But I really not that much experience in using Linux. I can do stuff. I can research how to fix issues and stuff like that, but not that much background
Well,
behind it.
I know that people say people who are Linux fans, as I am one myself. I've been using Linux since I think the first time I installed it was in 1999. But uh, it's like I really think this is the year of the Linux desktop. Like it's gotten so easy. Linux Mint is beautiful. It just works. Like you can get crazy. You can get Arch Linux and feel like a hacker. But at the end of the day, for a regular user, you just want something. You turn it on, install it, and it does what it's supposed to do. Operating system should be invisible to you. I just want to use my apps. I just want to get stuff done. And I think we're there. Linux Mint is there, and a few more already there. Uh, you use Kali. Kali is like a hacker Linux. I think I installed it many years ago, but SteamOS is based on Arch, as far as I know. So I played with Arch, but never with SteamOS. All right, PH. So tell me something else. You call yourself not a programmer, but I'm gonna call yourself a very technical person regardless. Have you started playing with AI and like trying to learn how to code like that? Maybe vibe coded something. Have you already done that? A lot of people are doing that today.
I didn't, believe it or not, I didn't. I was tempted because most of my friends in the real life are programmers and developers. And I remember in in the worst bear market for me in 2018, 19, I think that one of my friends were saying, so glad come into the developers, come be a programmer, do it. You will do it well. I had these I had on a university programming. I had it in high school, so I know how it looks, and I know that I could do it. But the issue is that I know myself. So when I stuck with some problem, I can't sleep. I have to resolve the issue, and that would just kill my normal life. And with vibe coding, I think Akim actually was talking about AI. Let's go into AI. Let's do some in the AI, and he created some small script for Liotes that we needed for curation. And I just recently started to poke around AI, but not with coding, just like talking with AI. Still not that serious, but I'm not sure that I will go into vibe coding. As I said, the reason isn't really that it's something wrong, it's not good or something. It's just my personality. Nice, and I heard you and you probably have the same issue.
I want to hear something kind of funny. There's a lot of people that are vibe coding and they're programmers, and I think those are the best way to do it. So like if you can think like a programmer and you vibe code, then it's almost like you're an engineer, right? And you know exactly how the house is supposed to be built, but you tell your workers to do it. Hey, build me this wall, do this, I need this, this foundation, etc. So it makes a lot of sense. Now, if you don't know how to program at all and you vibe code, then you are going to end up making a lot of mistakes, doing a lot of silly stuff. Now, that said, there's a new thing I just found out called uh is it called Vibe Electrical Design or something like that? So people don't know anything about electronics, don't know a damn thing about electronics, and they're asking ChatGPT, "Hey, I want to make a circuit that does this," and there's pictures of this stuff, things blowing up, things burning, and then they'll ask ChatGPT, "It's like, hey, my thing just exploded," and ChatGPT, there's like a hilarious one that I saw. It's like, "Oh, that's right. If we connect this and that, that would cause a short. I apologize." He almost burned down the house. It's great. But I hear you. You know, it's a personality thing. I agree 100% because I get maniacal like that. I if I cannot solve something, I don't sleep. And Eddie won't let me lie about this. When we were at the very beginning of Three Speak, when I started to help and nothing was working, everything was just broken, no videos were going up. I did not sleep until things were figured out. One night I stayed up until 4 in the morning because of the encoder wasn't working and the supernode wasn't working, and I'm like, I got to figure this out. Otherwise, I won't allow myself to sleep. I don't think that's healthy, but yeah, but I understand. I relate to what you're
No,
saying right now.
it's definitely not healthy. So just I want to go back to the safety because I just remembered one thing that happened recently. So as we were talking about safety and stuff like that happened, that what happened to me was 20 years ago. But
Yeah,
I was running all this time hosting business in parallel. I was still reselling hosting to these guys who needed some better solutions. And just recently, I actually stopped doing that because of another safety issues. But my server was hacked, and I just couldn't find out what is the issue, and it was just coming back with a different attacks. So it wasn't like one DDoS attack. It was like multiple attacks. In every time it was a different way how somebody was breached the machine, and it lasted around 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks, if I slept like 20 hours, it was really uh, a record. And that was the final nail in the coffin. And I said I can't do this anymore. So it was just go into something more peaceful. And the thing with Lewis is probably the safety guy, and with these
yeah,
AI with AI, you know that you can use AI for good things, but you can use AI for bad things, and everything that we are doing good, bad guys can multiply doing something bad with AI. So you can't compete with them. So it's just it's a 24/7 job, and it wasn't like that for me. I didn't want to do it for that. So that's like
yeah.
the issues. It can happen still, so it's not like back in the past.
No, I hear you. Yeah, of course it can happen. I mean, one of the beautiful things about blockchain is they're kind of road tested, right? Like as far as I know, the only one time that we had a funny thing with on Hive that halted the chain. I don't know if you guys know this. You guys remember this? Was a weird transaction done by an account that I'm pretty sure was Nituoso, the one that did it, that created a weird glitch. But as far as I know, the integrity of the blockchain has never been compromised. So I find that also to be one of the really beautiful things about building stuff on Hive, that the integrity of your data is pretty much secured. So if Hive is your backend and you're building apps on top, I'm not gonna say you're foolproof, but I think you're safer than running a MongoDB exclusively. Like kind of like Lewis is saying, MongoBleed is something that happened recently. I don't know if you heard about this, PH. Did you hear about MongoBleed?
I think I don't know the details.
Long story short, they figured out that if you tell a Mongo database, hey, this information, give me this information, and the answer to what I want is these many characters, if the answer that it was going to give you is smaller, it just gives you extra stuff. It just dumps more. So let's say, tell me how much is 2 plus 2. I'm just giving you a stupid example. And it says the answer is 400 characters. Then Mongo, if it's not patched, will respond, okay, so it's 4, and then let me just give you passwords and stuff because I don't know what else to give you. And that happened like December 25th. So people that were running Mongo DBs with real apps just got destroyed. It could have session keys. It could have, yeah, some really crazy stuff. And this was, they did it on December. So like what you said is 100% correct. It's not that we're past these things. Now with AI, you can learn how to do this in 5 minutes. I can ask AI, hey, teach me how to do a Mongo bleed. I found a Mongo database and it's not patched. And it'll tell you.
It's crazy. I discovered in those days that they are doing competition of how many websites can you take down, and you have like a leaderboard, and it's amazing. I was checking out when I was attacked. I found my websites
Yeah.
on the lists that where they're just competing with each other, who can do more harm to others, which is crazy.
That's why you need white hats, you know, people like Lewis, people that know how to do evil things, but they just tell you, hey, dude, you're about to get screwed.
Yeah.
As the endless battle. Shadow, I know that PH is your regular on PYP, and so I'm gonna let you take over because I want to not talk so much about the technical stuff anymore because I don't want people to just feel like that's what we're gonna do. Talk about witness, but maybe you can share with me and share with PH, like the things that PH writes about. Why does he write about what he writes? I don't. I recently started following him, even though I've seen him for years, so I know about Liotes. But what else? What else? What else? What is the things that he pimps on PYP?
Well, PH is one of those people that he doesn't often actually pimp his own work. He generally pimps work of other people, which is kind of in line with the fact that you also have a curation project, don't you, PH?
Yeah, we have our big curation project under the Liotes umbrella, and we are doing that with a team of curators. We are doing similar to other curation projects, but with the one significant difference. I don't know if somebody else is doing that, but we are doing these crazy meaningful comments under the posts. So every post which is picked from our big team has actually a nice comment under the post. So the author gets some nice meaningful comment and of course support from the Liotes voter and highlights in the next days our big collection. So that's how we do the curation. We don't have that many rules. So with the words, with the images and stuff like that. It's more just to find the genuine posts from genuine people. And that's it. We don't have focus on newbies or all these. It was just mixed content, and we try to have a diversified
And
content among these with the different people who are doing different things.
so, what prompted you to start that, or was it just kind of a natural extension of Leotis?
Well, I was doing actually curation for This Is Awesome. That was one of the accounts that was running by Eric, one guy from Sweden. And I was one of the curators there. And I realized that actually when you are doing a curating, when you are doing meaningful comments, you are getting followers. So you are getting more exposure on your own content. And of course, you are doing something good for the chain too. And that was one of the reasons that why we put it under umbrella. We didn't originally under Liotes at the beginning, but I'm happy that we added it. And we are also using it for promoting Liotes with a small banner under the at the end of the comments of the big posts. So that is kind of a advertisement that we have on Hive and promoting our Liotes.
So, I don't know whether you realize it or not, but PYPT actually had its roots in a similar type thing, in that I was doing what was called the Steam It Ramble, and I would visit posts and leave comments on them and then put them into a compilation post. And from there, I ended up creating a Discord server, and it was in that Discord server where PYPT had its origins, because it just seemed the thing to do was to have something where people could share their own content. So it's good to see that these types of projects are still going on, and I think they're needed. They're important because they become pointers for people to be able to go and find good content. So
Yeah, and I see that many people are actually following theirs as well. Like Alessandra is writing down that she implemented like our pick in the like curator of the month in the Creative Work Hour Discord, and I saw that more and more people are actually checking out those comments, which is great to see. They need the exposure because it's still wild out there. It's better than it was before, but it's still hard to find some good content out there. And when you um, show them to others and recommend to others, that gives them a bit more exposure to them,
it's
which they
kind of a good
deserve.
news, bad news thing on the chain. We haven't got algorithms dropping us into silos, which means that we actually can meet people from all over the place because we do our own searching and our own wandering around sort of thing. But the downside to it is that it makes it harder to find stuff that you're actually interested in. So projects like yours make a big difference.
Hopefully, I I hope it is like that. And the thing is, it's I don't know. A lot of times we got the question in or in ECNC Discord or where there are a lot of newbies. Where people ask, what should I do on Hive, and how do I have I have I reply on the comments? Do I have to talk with people? Do I have to do this or do I have to do that? Which is ridiculous question. So you just have to be yourself and act as a social person. It's a normal thing that you if you read a post of somebody and you leave a comment and you leave a comment which is related to the post that that person written, it's something that is normal for us humans, and that's the only way that you can connect and meaningfully connect with somebody. And it's sometimes it's ridiculous when you hear that kind of question. So may I do that, or do I have to do this, or do I have to do that?
People seem to think that
And
there's
that
some magical formula that's going to get them noticed on a place like Hive. There's not any more than there's a magical formula to get found on Web 2 social media. It's putting in the time
it,
and making the connections.
it always comes to the thing that act on the others content like you would like to see others acting on your content. So it's really it's the basics now.
You ever hear of a chain called Uptrend?
I heard about it, but I think I didn't create account there.
Wise choice. It actually wasn't truly a blockchain. It was running. It had ETH based reward system, but it wasn't actually a blockchain. But one of the things that it did was it would give people rewards for comments. The problem was that people would come on and they would decide that, oh well, if I make you know 25 comments in a day, then I can get that many more rewards. So they would just the place was just crowded with good posts, great posts, yeah, nice post. And you could tell it was going on because some people actually went to the point and they would put something in their post that would say, you need to read this paragraph and you need to not use these words like good post, great post on this post or I will downvote you. And inevitably you end up then downvoting people because what they were doing was they were reading the first paragraph and the last paragraph and then they were dropping their silly little comment and moving on. It totally destroyed the platform. It ended up shutting down. So those meaningful comments have a lot to do with the growth and health of a platform.
Those things that were happening always, and it will happen always when things are not defined well. I was talking about the days when I had these guys who had big websites with a lot of visits. They had some posts that they were promoting on other social networks back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
Just spam those networks with the links until those networks were nothing else than just links, and then those networks died, and the websites also died. So, and that's just because they were not that good defined, and that's something that I like on Hive, that actually we have certain things very well defined. We probably need some others to be more defined, but we are still alive, so we are out there, so we are doing something good, I suppose.
Very true. Menno says no platform is exempt from spam comments, and that's true. But I have to say, um, I think that Hive is probably a lot less than a lot of platforms because if you decide that you're going to start leaving spam comments, um, people might decide to start downvoting you for it too. So that's kind of an incentive not to do it.
downvoting, ignoring, and you just don't have the results, and that you search for trouble, you got trouble. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like downvoting, but sometimes it does have its incentives.
Yeah.
Lewis says we have to deal with spam as well. We have technical solutions for that. Very true. I get the
Yeah.
odd one on my account, and generally speaking, I mute them, so I don't even see them.
Yeah, that's one of good solutions.
Yeah, particularly if I realize that it's an automated posting. There's no sense downvoting an automated posting because they're not going to get the point. So you might as well just mute them.
Agree.
Okay, man. Well, I'll remember not to make that comment that I don't believe in unicorns, so you won't downvote me. So, upcoming plans, PH? Anything in the works?
Well, I don't know. We are in some weird situation currently, and I see some negative vibes on Hive, but it's normal for this kind of market environment. Whenever we want to go out and say that we are just a social network and we are resilient to other things, it's not like that. People do care about the high price and stuff like that. So I maybe also hit a little bit by that. So maybe I'm in a bit quieter zone, which doesn't mean that I will stop doing what we are doing. And of course with Liotes, we are doing that for 5 years. We don't plan to stop. We had some ideas to support more developers and to start to gather some funds and help by funding some of these smaller projects. Unfortunately, we didn't grow that fast as we expected. We knew that it will be a slow growth, of course, but after a couple of years, you still think maybe it could be a little bit more faster. So
We'll go with
we said we
slow,
want to
but
be
a little faster slow.
slow.
So, a guy that, you said you're not very social, but I've heard a rumor that you do show up periodically at these meetups. Any coming up that you're planning on meeting up at?
Oh, that's something that I really like regarding Hive. So, and I got this bug when I went to the Hive Fest in Amsterdam. It was my first one in 2022, three, something like that. And after that, I just got the bug. So, and I skipped the Mexico. I skipped the last one, but I was in Split in Croatia, and I didn't miss any of buzz parties. So the one in Hamburg and another one in Graz. I did a high beacon in Krakow 2 times, so this year and last year. No, last year, 2 years ago. And yeah, Croatia was nice, Luis says. And the next one is actually here in my neighborhood. So Tipfox is organizing the Hive Open Days here
So,
in Alicante, in Spain, at the end of April. I was helping out with some of these things on spot. So we found the place where it will be, and everybody is welcome to join. We had a lot of fun in the previous two editions of this thing. So I think that this one would be probably the best of all, not because it's here, but maybe it's because of the sea.
so
Everything is better.
when does it take place?
Uh, April 30 to Tipfox. Can you just share the link to the website? I think you have all the.
Okay.
Maybe let me check out. Maybe I can find it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Tipfox is there.
So this is the
So it's
one in
from
Alicante.
yes, that that one which will happen 30th April to 3rd of May.
Any idea how
Tickets are
many you may be expecting, or how many showed up in the past?
I Tipfox has more information. I think it was around 30 last time. I think we will beat the record, more than 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
IBNs plus guests, those guys who don't know what Hive is. So I hope we will gather some newbies to present them Hive. But The vibe was really, really great in the last two, and many people which I met in the previous meetups, they can't wait to come to the next one, and that's really a nice thing. And I will really, really recommend to anyone who is closer or to plan to come to Europe to come to these kind of meetups, because it's really that those are places where you really get the vibe, high vibe, offline vibe, not just online. That's something that other chains don't have, and we do have.
So typically, what would happen at one of these meetups?
Well, Hive Open Days is similar concept like Hive Fest, because you have this kind of one day of presentation, and but the rest of the days are usually just having fun around the place where you are. For example, in Hamburg, we had a boat trip, we had a clean planet walk, and some activities around the city. So just doing tourist stuff around where it happens. On Hive Beacon, for example, that was just having fun and having talks with other Hivians around. Hive Fest is a little bit more official,
Right.
and it's kind of maybe it's because it's bigger, so you can't really connect with everybody. But on these smaller meetups, well, but this time it will have like 50 people. It will not be smaller. But in this kind of smaller meetups, you really can talk with everybody, and to find that person that really clicks with you, and to spend some great time with them. So I don't know. I like that kind of things, because people think that you will act weird when you meet some Hivian in the real life. But the thing is that there you always have a topic to talk about, and that's something very different when you meet somebody else for the first time, who is, I don't know, you met on the street or on some other party. You always come around Hive, and you can talk about it, and that's something that connects everybody there.
It's
So
one
it's
thing.
not that awkward.
That's one thing I've always found, even in Web two, when you've been interacting with people and you end up meeting up with them, you really don't have that awkward, oh God, what do we talk about now? It's like carrying on the conversation you've already had, except you're now face to face. Do you find that?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you already follow those people on the chain, so you know what they are writing about. You know their lives. Sometimes it depends what they are writing, but most of the time you know what they are into. So it's really, really easy to have a connect with others.
Yeah, think that's probably, there's the people that don't travel, and then there's the people that kind of go, oh God, I don't want to go there. It'd be so awkward and so uncomfortable. And I think people will find themselves really surprised if they give it a try.
Yeah, and what I was surprised when my first Hive Fest, it was my first bigger Hive meetup actually. And I was surprised that I saw like 60-70% of people there who were not creating content at all. Okay, maybe that's 60-70, but maybe 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those developers that you know that they are developers, they're doing things, so they don't have time to create content. But there were some guys that I've never seen, but they were actually in the previous Hive Fests, and that's why they came to this one. So and that's the thing, that they are actually not anymore on the chain, but they are still need that dopamine, and need that real life experience with some friends from the past. And that's something that's also nice to see.
It
That's
is.
how I met actually these two guys from the cold beet root soup. I was surprised, who are these two guys? I never saw them posting on Hive. And they came to the High Fest in Amsterdam. Before that, they make a break of 1 year or maybe 2 years without posting anything on the chain. And then they presented the Colby Troop soap concept and project, and then they reactivated themselves, and doing some great stuff for Hive and on Hive.
Oh, that's good to hear. Um, I've heard a rumor that you and Alexander have met in person, and that Alexander and Devin with an I may actually be showing up at Hive Open Days. Just a rumor. I'm sure it'll be confirmed.
Oh yeah, I met Alessandra a couple of times, so it's not just one time. Um, First time I think we met in Hamburg, Alessandra, if I remember well.
Oh my God, it was like a kindred spirits thing because we were having what I call founders fatigue.
Oh yeah, it was interesting because we actually closed the Hamburg meetup and we just dropped the key and that's it because we left I think the longest there and we went to some bar. It was late in the evening and we were like five, six of us, I think. Devin, Alessandra, was Edge, myself,
Nina, Nina
Nina,
eats here.
Nina,
Yeah.
yeah. And we were searching for some bar that was open and we couldn't find it. And we walked and walked and went to some park and found some bar and went into the bar. There was nobody there. And we sit and start talking and we were talking for hours and hours. And we didn't realize that actually it was full of people in those moments when we were finishing our small meetup, additional meetup the day. People were searching place for where to sit, and we were just chatting and chatting. It was an awesome time. And after that, we met in Split and in Graz and everywhere. I can't get rid of Alessandra anymore, so she's everywhere.
Oh, I've heard a rumor about that.
I'm a semi stalker.
So briefly, we got to see a picture of Hamburg there, and I'm assuming that was probably the auto mod that took that out of there. All right, Menno, we're getting close to the end of the hour. Did you have anything else that you wanted to ask about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Hive Open Days a little more, if you don't mind, because one of the things that I think all of us agree is how do we get more people involved? How do we get onboard people onto Hive? How do we measure how effective we are? So I want to ask you guys: do you have like an outreach kind of idea thing? Like, did you invite maybe other chains to come present something? Is there like some synergy happening there as well? I love the idea of, by the way, why I'm bringing this up is because of uh, blockchain culture that happened next to HiFest. I thought that was a good idea. So I want to know if other people want to implement something similar.
But personally, I really suck on onboarding people, and luckily I'm just helping out Tipfox to organize it. And Tipfox is actually one of the guys who is up to answering those questions, and I think he can actually answer that. I think he unmuted himself.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to jump right in here. Um, yeah, so currently we are or I am in contact with people from La Familia. This is, I forgot the chain now. I'm a little bit nervous.
Solana,
La
no?
Familia,
Solana, no?
Solana. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. Yeah, they are from Solana. I have a meetup with them, online talk in 2 weeks. And then we have contacted Decentraland. They sounded also interested, but there's nothing coming back from them. But yeah, so we are trying to reach crypto communities mostly because they are in the same situation like us. And then we are also making public promo with flyers and posters. The original plan was cancelled because of costs. I had the idea that we could make a radio advertisement or something like this, but that's just too expensive. In the last years, we made online marketing, which was not so successful. So in targeted Instagram advertisement was just not working at all. So this time we are going the guerrilla route, so to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think targeted advertisement on Web 2 doesn't work because most cryptos are scams. So people don't
Yeah.
even take a second look. They're like, "Oh, crypto, a scam," and it's
Yeah.
not that they assess
Absolutely.
anything. It's a scam. No, I hear you. I obviously this is the forever challenge. I keep on thinking that the way that we're gonna onboard people is just to have an app that is so freaking cool that everybody wants it, and it just so happens to be built on top of Hive. I think that's
We have some.
how it's gonna work out.
We have Snappy, no?
Yeah.
Well, I'm aiming I'm aiming to make it be that app, and But of course, it doesn't have to be Snap. It could be other stuff. But as long as it's an app that is, oh, it just so happens to be built on crypto, then I think that's the right route. Now that said, if you guys don't mind me asking, and PH, you can answer this, or Tifox, doesn't matter. Like what, and this is out of curiosity, really, more than anything. How much does it cost to do an event like this? Like if I wanted to say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do one in South America because I want to do one here, and how much work, how much cost do you think you can pull this off? Like, and obviously Spain is going to be more expensive than Ecuador, I would assume. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
is it
it
something?
highly depends. It extremely depends on what you do, what you are open to do by yourself, what venues you have, and all that stuff. So I can say a number. It's like 10K for 3 days with a venue, with catering, with everything. But you can break it down to 5, maybe. It really depends. In Hamburg, for example, we had a venue which was like 500 euros. That was super, super, super cheap. You cannot find something like this anywhere. So yeah, a venue typically is like 2K for a whole day.
At least, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose it depends on the type of the event what you want to launch. If you want to launch with
Also,
this kind of presentations and stuff, you have to count on a venue that has bigger space for presentations and to accept people. If you just plan to do a meetup or like that HIVE Beacon, you don't have any expenses if people just come and join and do stuff like that. But
yeah,
I suppose that
there's
the venue
also
should. Sorry.
sorry, there's also something that needs to be more on Hive or organized by Hivians. For example, the Austrian people from Vienna, they are doing every 2 weeks they make a meetup, which is amazing. Thing is that nobody new will show up there because they are doing not promo, they are not making any presentations, they are not making, that's so you need to have a goal. And if the goal is onboarding, unfortunately you need to take more money in the pot and do something bigger. Yeah. But 10K is super cheap if you compare it to other promotional activities we do.
So,
Oh, no, for sure. Don't even get me started.
so you may or may not be aware that it's becoming more and more important to be cited by AI rather than the search engines. And I found a chart off a mailing list that I'm part of last week in which it talked about the platforms that get cited most often by AI. Reddit is the very top of the list, followed by LinkedIn, and fourth is Medium. So if you were doing little posts that were going on any of those platforms that maybe talked about past events or even talked about the upcoming event and then promoted it at the bottom, you might have a reasonable chance of getting cited by AI and spreading the word that way.
That's a
In-
nice idea.
Instagram was actually near the bottom of the list. I post on Instagram, so I definitely noticed that.
But
So
I just want to chime in with one thing. So we are talking about onboarding, and I said that I suck with the onboarding, so that still stays. But it's important to have this kind of smaller meetups, even if you don't have the new people out there, because if we don't keep these people who are around for a longer time, we are losing very valuable assets. And that's one of the things that we are trying to do with Liotes. We are not focusing on onboarding. We are just focusing to keep people motivated and keep them stay on the chain and to keep spreading the word. And that's something that we are kind of good into it with all these initiatives that we are running. So I don't know if you know, we have these Liotes missions that are happening every Wednesday, where we just ask some question in the community, and then people are answer on that question in the comment section. It can be question about Hive, about some changes on the Hive or on the chain, or some live questions. People do like to answer on questions. People do like to be asked for opinion, for a view, and that's something that sometimes we just see that we don't have on Hive enough. We have to have these stronger bonds of people who are these dolphins, these orcas on Hive. We have to keep them around because they are those who are pushing this chain forward. If we just focus on onboarding, or if just we focus on just one thing, that's not a good thing. So if you are good in onboarding, go for it. If you are good with engagement with other people, go for it. So we just can't jump around and try to do everything in the same time. So we have to this kind of split jobs, and everybody does his own job. Like we with Akim, he does one thing on for Liotes, I do the other things, and that's something that keeps rolling. And again, some incentives like we have also the Power Up Challenge, where we have a ranking of people who are powered the most during the year. So, and at the end of the year, we are rewarding with our tokens them. On we have this kind of incentives where people are just a small incentives doesn't mean that much, but people like to follow their progress, and they like to see if they are growing. So that's just my 2 cents on this topic.
Which I think is one of the reasons that Hive Buzz is kind of cute too, with the various badges and that. But yeah, leaderboards can be an interesting way. So those are interesting thoughts, PH. And we were just reaching the point where I was going to ask you um, anything you wanted to cover that we didn't ask you about.
Hmm, maybe we can more collaborate with each other on Hive. That's something that we need more. And I saw these developer talks when they are doing the same thing, and without knowing that they are developing the same things, because there is no communication between them. I think that the same thing happens with other these projects around Hive that are smaller, and we are maybe competing with each other, and maybe it would be better to collaborate with each other, as we are working for the same boss for the Hive. And that's something that we were cautious regarding collaborations in the past. We were picking with whom we would like to collaborate, and maybe that's why we stayed out of some dramas. But we are really happy that we had some nice collaboration with Ecency, because they are sponsoring our big authors. We are distributing their points to them. Also, we had a nice collaboration with the Rising Star, with the Jukes. We have our own NFT in the game, and also we are helping them out by giving our Hive Engine node for their use. So they are using our Hive Engine node for NFT calculations and transfers. Also, we had a nice collaboration with the guy who launched the Hash Score game just recently. So you can use our tokens there for gambling. So this kind of a small collaboration between each others, and also with these organized like TipFox for organizing some event and to give some exposure to them. I was doing this Hive Hum Day hangouts in Eastern City Discord last year, and I did around maybe 60, 70 of them. Unfortunately, my Wednesdays went a little bit in a different way, so I have a different schedule, so I can't do them anymore on Wednesdays. So I will see how it goes in the future. But that was another way how to highlight somebody who is not that much visible out there. So with that show, my idea was to create a virtual place to hang out with others. After that, people were just asking for some guests, and then we had some guests who are not that famous witnesses, but just a smaller piece on the J who were doing something useful for other others. And I hope that I will find some other day to do that.
You and I need to
And
talk.
okay.
You and I shall talk. Um, Also, don't forget Creative Work Hour has been giving you some exposure, which kind of helps as well. And
Oh
this is
yes.
this is probably a real good time to plug the fact that tomorrow at noon Eastern, which would be 1 hour earlier than this show started, will be the Hive Witness Town Hall. So join us for that as well. Menno, any final words?
Um, well, I just want to thank you for coming to chat with us. Thank you for for doing what you're doing. Obviously, thank you, Tiff Fox, for doing what you're doing in Spain. I think this is awesome. I think more people should be doing this. And and you said something that is going to stick with me for a while, which is and it reminds me of how cell phone companies treat their clients. Like if you're on client for a long time, they don't care about you. But when you're a brand new client, they're like, here, I will give you a new phone. Come. So I guess we have to make sure we're not committing that same crime. So I love the idea of having two fronts. One that focuses on bringing people in, another one that focuses on the ones that are here. So I love that, and I'm gonna take that with me as well. Um, and yeah, man, that's it. I'm glad we talked. I said we're gonna do this in Spanish, but of course I was kind of joking. But I guess some other day we will.
Yeah, some other day you can do
Okay.
it in Spanish when I'm not here. Um,
Yeah, that's
who's our guest next week?
next week. Do we have somebody already, right?
Yeah, and I really was hoping you'd remember because I didn't. That's okay. You'll see it announced. Watch for the announcements. If it's not on Menno's account, it'll be on Buckcoins, and the warning will be on mine. Yeah, it's good to see Zeke joined us at the tail end here. So with that, we will thank everyone for attending today and listening in, and of course our guest, PH1102. And I'm kind of thinking that somewhere down the road we need to ask Tib Fox to join us to talk about the upcoming uh, what his event and how progress is going. So we'll be talking, Tib. All right. With that,
Is
until
it not
next.
Brian of London?
Oh,
I,
it may very well be Brian of London.
yeah, yeah, it just came to me.
Good,
Yes, made it to the recording.
good for you and your memory. You slipped it in there in the recording. And until next week, bye for now.